Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel Geography Guru. This is the second episode of Class 10 Political Science chapter number 1, Power Sharing. In the previous episode, we tried to understand what is power sharing, and then we tried to understand in better way taking the example of Belgium. In Belgium, we discussed about the ethnic composition of Belgium, the problem of Belgian people, and then we discussed the most important part of previous episode, that was the Belgian model of power sharing. In today's episode, we will have another case study, and that is of Sri Lanka, our neighboring country, and we will try to understand the ethnic composition, after that the problem of Sri Lanka, and after that we will discuss the outcomes of the part taken by the politicians of Sri Lanka. Let's begin. Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is an island nation that got independence in 1948, 1 year after India's independence. It is south of India, having diverse population of about 2 crore. Near about 2 crore, it means that its population is less than Haryana's population. And the major social groups are Sinhala speakers 74% and the Tamil speakers 18%. It means there are the two major social groups. 74% people are the Sinhala speakers and 18% people are the Tamil speakers. Tamils are divided into the two subgroups. तमिल से फिर वो फर्दर डिवाइडेड है दो ग्रुप्स में, श्रीलंकन तमिल्स एंड इंडियन तमिल्स. श्रीलंकन तमिल्स 13%, दीज आर द नेटिव तमिल्स ऑफ द कंट्री, एंड इंडियन तमिल्स, दीज आर 5% ऑफ टोटल पॉपुलेशन ऑफ द श्रीलंका. दे केम फ्रॉम इंडिया ड्यूरिंग द colonial periods as plantation workers. So the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka, if we discuss, 74% people are the Sinhala speakers on the basis of the language, and rest of the 18% people are the Tamil speakers, and Tamil speakers have their two subgroups, Sri Lankan Tamils 13% and the Indian Tamils 5%. But it is even more complex. Most of the Sinhala speakers are the Buddhist. कि सिर्फ लैंग्वेज की बात नहीं, थोड़ा और कॉम्प्लेक्स हो जाता है इतनी कंपोजिशन. मोस्ट ऑफ द सिंहला स्पीकर्स आर द बुद्धिस्ट, while the most of the Tamils are Hindus or Muslims. Near about 7% Christians are also there in the country, and they are both Tamil speakers and the Sinhala speakers. So it is even more complex than the ethnic composition of Belgium. Let's try to understand with the help of map. This is the map of Sri Lanka, and here that yellow shade shows the Sinhala speaker area, and that shows the Indian Tamils area, and that is the Sri Lankan Tamils area, and here in the light brown shade that is showing the Muslim areas. Okay, so this is the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka. 74% Sinhala speakers, 18% Tamil speakers, Sri Lankan Tamils 13%, and 5% are the Indian Tamils, and most of the Sinhala speakers are Buddhist, and Tamils are Hindus or Muslims. 7% Christians are also there, they are both Tamil and Sinhala speakers. Then what happens after that? That is the majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. Majoritarianism क्या होता है? Majoritarianism means when the majority tries to rule over the minority in their own way, इग्नोरिंग द माइनॉरिटी. जब मेजोरिटी है वो माइनॉरिटीज़ को इग्नोर करके अपने अकॉर्डिंग रूल करने की कोशिश करता है, दैट इज नोन एज द मेजोरिटेरियनिज्म. ओके, सो मेजोरिटेरियनिज्म इन श्रीलंका क्या होता है वहाँ पर? द डेमोक्रेटली इलेक्टेड गवर्नमेंट आफ्टर द इंडिपेंडेंस अडोप्टेड ए सीरीज ऑफ मेजोरिटेरियन पॉलिसी. Majoritarian policies means to favor the majority community, to favor the Sinhala speakers, to favor the Buddhist, and to establish the Sinhala supremacy there. उन्होंने कुछ स्टेप्स उठाए, कुछ कदम उठाए कि वहाँ पर मेजोरिटी जो ग्रुप है, दैट इज द Sinhala speakers, उनके फेवर में. Let's try to understand with this one, majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. After independence in 1948, Sri Lanka adopted a series of majoritarian measures to establish the Sinhalese supremacy over the Tamils. In 1956, the act was passed to recognize the Sinhala as the only official language. As in India, we have the 22 scheduled languages. We don't have any one single official language, and state government have their own official language. But in Sri Lanka, they passed an act in 1956 and they recognize Sinhala as their official language. So first steps they taken after the independence to for the supremacy of the Simlas. That was in 1956. An act was passed to recognize the Sinhala as the only official language, thus disregarding the Tamil or ignoring the Tamils. Then the second step that was taken by the Sri Lankan government after the independence, that was a new constitution stipulated, and that state shall protect and foster Buddhism. We can say that they declared Buddhism as their official or national religion, ignoring the Hindus, Muslims and Christians. So second steps, they amended their constitution and they declared the Buddhism as their official or national religion. Third, the government followed the preferential policies that favored the Sinhala applicants for university positions and government jobs. Third, they adopted a number of policies to favor the Sinhala people, to take the admission in the universities, to get the job easily. तो तीसरा कदम यानी पहला कदम क्या उठाया? To for the supremacy of the Sinhalas, they declared the Sinhala language as their only official language. Second, they declared the Buddhism as their official or the national religion. Third, they also took number of steps to favor the Sinhala peoples to take the admission in the universities and to get the jobs easily. These decisions, that is very important question, that what steps were taken by the Sri Lankan governments to set up the majority rule in the Sri Lanka. So they took the 3 steps. First, they declared the Sinhala language as their official language. Second, they declared the Buddhism as their official or the national religion. And third, they also favored the Sinhala people while taking the admission in universities or government job. These decisions gradually increased the feeling of alienation among the Sri Lankan Tamils. Sri Lankan Tamils felt ignored. They felt that they are discriminated. उन्हें लगा कि उनके साथ भेदभाव हो रहा है. And the Sri Lankan Tamils launched parties, struggles for the recognition of Tamil as an official language, for the regional autonomy and equality of opportunity in securing education jobs. So Sri Lankan Tamils, they launched political parties, they launched the struggles, they launched a number of movements, and there were the 3 demands. उनकी 3 डिमांडें थी. पहला, their first demand was to recognize Tamil as an official language too. Second, for regional autonomy. Regional autonomy means the Tamil area should be given the some powers so that they can take their own decisions, like we have studied about the Belgium. The many powers from the central governments were given to the state governments. So they were demanding same types of the autonomy. Third, equality of opportunity in securing education jobs. So Sri Lankan Tamils, because they were ignored and because they were feeling that they were discriminated, so they launched the political parties and movements and they demanded for there were the 3 demands. उनकी 3 डिमांडें थी. पहली, the recognition of Tamil as official language as well as the Sinhala. Second was for the regional autonomy, and third, equality of opportunity in securing education and jobs. By the 1980s, because the Sri Lankan government ignored their demand, so by the 1980s, several political organizations were formed demanding an independent Tamil Eelam state in the northern and eastern parts of Sri Lanka. Because the Sri Lankan government ignored the demand of Tamils, so they started demanding the independence or independent Tamil Eelam. Eelam here is a Tamil word which means state. So they started demanding the Tamil state separate from the Sri Lanka. So due to the policies of the Sri Lankan government that led to the division of the country, लगभग ऐसे लगने लग गया था श्रीलंका के टुकड़े होने वाले हैं. And it soon turned into the civil war, because again the Sri Lankan government ignored the demand of the Sri Lankan Tamils and it turned into the civil war. Civil war, आपस में बहुत communities के बीच में एक civil war की शुरुआत होती है. That continued for many years. As a result, thousands of people of both communities have been killed. दोनों कम्युनिटीज़ के हज़ारों लोग मारे जाते हैं. इट वॉज ए सेटबैक फॉर द इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट, इट वॉज ए सेटबैक फॉर द सोशल डेवलपमेंट, इट वॉज ए सेटबैक फॉर द पीस ऑफ द कंट्रीज. द कंट्री दैट वॉज डेवलपिंग कंट्री, दैट वॉज डूइंग वेरी वेल, दैट वॉज डूइंग बेटर देन इंडिया, इट स्टॉप्ड एवरीथिंग. सब कुछ वहाँ पे ठहर जाता है जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ द पॉलिसीज ऑफ द श्रीलंकन गवर्नमेंट. So soon it turned into the civil war and thousands of people from both the communities were killed, and that was a setback for the economic growth of the Sri Lankan economy. So the civil war caused a terrible setback for the social, cultural and economic life of the countries. So these were the consequences. So what were the consequences? Again we are recapitulating. Tamil felt discriminated and opposed the policies of the majoritarianism. Conflict arose between both Tamils and Sinhala communities. Demand of new independent Tamil states, Tamil Ilam, and Tamil militants group were formed. Means they took the path of violence. उन्होंने हिंसा को अपना लिया and they formed like that of a LTT was one of that group, Liberation Tigers of Tamil Ilam. And this was followed by civil war, and conflict caused loss of lives, properties, etc. Thousands of people from both the communities killed in that civil war, and it created a hindrance in the development of Sri Lanka. Hindrance, we can say that it was just like that of a pause, एक प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट करती थी वहाँ के डेवलपमेंट में. सो दीज वर द कंसिक्वेंसेज ऑफ द मेजोरिटेरियनिज्म पॉलिसीज ऑफ द श्रीलंकन गवर्नमेंट कि ये रिजल्ट निकले. As we have discussed that same types of conflicts were there in Belgium, same types of problems were there in Belgium too, was there in Belgium too, but they took the different path, and Sri Lankan government they took the different path, and the results were different. Let's compare what we have learned from the stories of Belgium and Sri Lanka. हमने क्या सीखा? Both countries are democracies, but they deal differently with the concept of power sharing. Power sharing के concept को अलग तरीके से लिया. One government was agreed to do the power sharing and second government was not agreed to do the power sharing. दूसरी power sharing नहीं करना चाहती थी. In Belgium, the leaders have realized that the unity of the country is possible only by respecting the feelings and interest of different communities and regions. This resulted mutually acceptable arrangements for sharing power. In Belgium, the leaders realized that we should go for the power sharing for the betterment of the country, betterment of the society, betterment of the people. In Sri Lanka, that shows that if a majority community wants to force its dominance over others, refuse to share powers, it can undermine the unity of the country. It can create a threat for the unity of the country. It can create a setback for the development of the country. So हमने दो कहानियाँ पढ़ी और दोनों से समझने की कोशिश की कि पावर शेयरिंग क्यों ज़रूरी है. पावर शेयरिंग नहीं की जाती तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि वो ताकतवर देश है. इट मीन्स दैट इट कैन डिवाइड द कंट्री, इट कैन वीकन द कंट्री, it can affect the harmony of the people, it can also lead to the tension in the society. Belgium and Sri Lanka, let's compare these again. थोड़ा सा हम इनको compare कर लेते हैं just to recapitulate. Both are the democracy, that is the similarities. Difference क्या है? Power sharing arrangement is different in both the countries. What is unique about the Belgium? Leaders have realized that unity of the country is possible only by respecting and feelings and interest of different communities and regions. What was the drawback in the system followed by Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka ने क्या किया? Dominance of majority Sinhalese. They tried to dominance of majority community Sinhalese by refusing the sharing power with the Tamils, and that resulted in the disunity of the country. So अब तक आपको क्लियर हो गया होगा कि पावर शेयरिंग क्या होती है और पावर शेयरिंग कैसे स्ट्रेंथ होती है किसी भी डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री की. सो दैट्स ऑल इन दिस एपिसोड. इन द लास्ट एपिसोड वी विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड why do we need to do the power sharing and how we can do the power sharing, various forms of the power sharing. Till then, bye bye, have a nice day.